Come up with a chapter title? Your wish is my command. Not really sure if this belongs here because it wasn't really malicious and not that big of a deal. However, it is just an amusing memory I have from my middle school days. In 8th grade, my English teacher came up with a clever idea for when we started a new book. He decided that, after we had finished reading a chapter, we would all come up with potential chapter names. This book did not have chapter titles. Once they were all submitted, the teacher would read them all and we would all collectively vote about which one was the best one. And that would be the unofficial title of the chapter. It was just a fun creative exercise to help break up the otherwise boring process of reading as a class. After we finished chapter 3, we all submitted our chapter titles. There were some pretty clever chapter titles, but the one that stuck out most to me was the fact one. Students' proposed title was Chapter 3. There were quite a few laughs in the room, including from yours truly. Part of me kinda wanted to vote for that title, but I didn't. If I were the teacher, I would have given that students extra credit for being clever. I wouldn't even be mad that they were being a smartass. A clever smartass is still clever. My daughter and friends had to come up with team names in preparation for a summer camp activity. There were loads of creative names. Her team called themselves Team 2 Tears of Joy. That's a smart teacher. For a student to actually come up with an appropriate title, they would need to read the chapter. And the teacher doesn't have to read 25 paragraphs for each class period of chapter summaries, just 25 chapter titles. And since the class is voting on these titles, the teacher doesn't even have to do that outside of class time. 8th graders are hellions, so the titles could have been much worse. Winking face reminds me of Bodie McBoatface smiley face. Chapter McChapterface. Technically correct. The best kind. Reminds of a band that named their very first album Greatest Hits. Even better is it was to title Chapter 7. The first kid to pull that gets full credit. Maybe even extra credit. Then we all laugh at it as a class and agree that, in the future, I will properly phrase the questions on my assignments so that this particular smart answer will no longer be technically correct. Why is failure to capitalize properly acceptable? Make your story easier to read by using good sentence structure. Agreed. Clever should be rewarded. Personally, I love clever. Even though I'm not particularly clever myself. That might be why I love it. Come to think about it, thinking face.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.